Hello viewers, I'm SB, and this is Tangledeep Dawn of Dragons. We've played Tangledeep a couple of times on the channel before, and I really like this game. I'm excited to get back to it. A couple of expansions have come out since last we played, so there's going to be plenty of new stuff for us to see. And if you're not familiar with Tangledeep at all, this game is it's a modern roguelite, so there's a lot of procedural generation, randomized loot, and individual characters have permadeath. We will experience some deaths, but between runs, we'll be building up this persistent town at the base of the dungeon that will help future characters enter with a little bit more power until finally we are able to rise to meet the challenge before us. So let's just get in here. As you might be able to tell from looking at it or listening to it, this game is very much in love with the 16-bit era, particularly like Super Nintendo games, and it looks and sounds like a Super Nintendo game in all the best ways. I'm really into the aesthetic here. Which journey will you begin? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Let's do a Mirai game, because this is the base game, right? Mirai is driven by innate curiosity. Starting amidst a colorful cast of characters in Riverstone Camp, she ventures into Tangledeep to reveal its mysteries. Yeah, let's do this one. We'll try some of that other stuff some other time. So we're going to be playing the game in heroic mode. If a character reaches 0 HP, they are permanently dead. There's no getting back a dead character. But like I said, we'll make some persistent progress that will help out future characters. And here we have the job selection menu. So you select a job, sort of a class to start the game as, and it gives you certain abilities and certain base stats. And over the course of a run, you will change jobs probably a couple of times, and anything you learned from your old job you will retain. So over the course of a run, we'll be building up a character who's made of bits and pieces of different classes, trying to synergize stuff together to make something that's a little bit greater than the sum of its parts. And I am noticing that there's a class here that I have never played before, something that was added by one of the expansions, so let's start there. The Calligrapher is a master of the pen and the sword. A dual-wielding specialist who eschews defense in favor of powerful combos and elemental attacks. Yeah? That sounds like my sort of thing. Who needs defense if all the enemies are dead already, right? Okay, and then we get to take 2 feats with us. Without really knowing how the game has changed, I think let's take extra job points, which the resource that is used to learn new abilities, and also additional healing from our Flask. I don't know if these are the right things, but I do know that they're very helpful in surviving the early game, and we'll figure some stuff out. We'll learn some things for future runs. We might have some better decisions to make here in the future. So if you've the game is entirely turn-based. It definitely has a feeling similar to the early crop of roguelites. If you've ever played, in particular, Dungeons of Dreadmore, I think there's a real Dungeons of Dreadmore feel to it. Quill and ink are the heart of all stories, broad strokes or fine detail. My art and my path are the same. Today is a blank canvas. Well, that's just a lovely way to think about the world. So let's grab this free knife that's on the ground and have a look at our character. So we're all about dual wielding, huh? Let's actually start by looking at our job stuff. Sorry, it's going to take me a minute to remember how to work the game. Okay, this is the job menu, the job window. We just don't have any abilities yet or anything. Okay, well, let's not look at our job stuff. Let's equip this secondary weapon in our offhand slot. So you can see you have the standard weapon slot, armor. You can have some like jewelry or whatever, some gear that does some things. We have 4 different weapon slots because for 4 different primary weapons to let you quickly switch between different things you might need for different situations. There are definitely going to be good reasons for us to have a variety of approaches prepared. And each different type of weapon behaves differently in Tangledeep. So you can see this rusted sword. It has weapon power, as all weapons do. There's a small penalty for dual wielding. And then all of the text below the dual wield penalty is sword-specific abilities. So we have a higher chance to parry. Anytime we parry, we'll riposte, which is a free counterattack. And when we get a crit with our sword, we'll put up a little buff that automatically parries the next time we get attacked, which means that also we'll get a riposte. You can see with a dagger class weapon, those traits are different. Daggers have damage that comes in from your guile as well as your strength. and they deal bonus damage if you continually hit the same target, and on a crit you gain, CT. We'll talk about CT in a minute here when we're actually fighting. But it's a complicated game. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and we'll talk about all the stats and whatnot as they become important. For right now, let's talk to the townspeople a little bit. Here's Nando. He's got the finest food and the smoothest moves. Look at that. Look at him jam out. Do we want food? Not really. I think we're okay. So for right now, we have our healing flask, which will heal us over time, as it says here. There are magic fountains in the world. Whenever we find one, it'll add some charges to the flask. We have our town portal, which is not a good way to escape from danger, because you can see it takes 12 turns to do it, but it's a good way to get back here and then back into the dungeon without having to run the whole way. And then here, we have the food bag. As we pick up food in the dungeon, we'll have easy access to it from this interface, which is good, because we're going to go through a lot of food over the course of the game. This person over here... Oops, that's the wrong... How do I move up into the... Okay, we'll talk to him from right here. I might have to rebind some stuff. Tangledeep has as many tales as leaves and branches. Legends stand tall like ancient trees, but they're grounded in winding roots and countless stories. Would you like to make some stories of your own? The question here is, do you want a side quest? And I say yes, please. Here's one way to make a name for yourself. Try pulverized moss jelly. So defeat 3 moss jellies using the power of physical. You only need to land the finishing blow with that element. Okay, easy enough, and we'll get a fancier knife. I'll take it. She will sometimes give you multiple quests. Discover the Applewood Grove. It's somewhere in Cedar Cavern's first floor. You'll get some restorative items. Absolutely. Can I get one more? Defeat the deadly Grotto Flyer. It's terrorizing the Cedar Caverns. End its evil reign once and for all. For even more knives. And also some money. Hey, I figured out how to move diagonally. Alright, so this is where we'll change jobs when we choose to change jobs. There's a cost associated with this. We probably want to get all of the cool stuff from this job before we go swapping around. And we can pay gold for blessings. I don't remember these. Let's not worry about them right now. We're just gonna talk to one more person and then go ahead and get into some trouble. Okay. Katie Twinkles is real excited to see us. You and me are gonna get along so great. We're gonna take such good care of each other, and you're climbing all the way to the top, the tippy top of Tangledeep. She will sell us all of our weapons. Apparently Pep is a family tradition. Listen, I don't know how to do this thing with my voice, so we're just gonna slide right past that. Hooray! So we can buy weapons and stuff from her. Also, some other things, like the Butler's Bell, which summons a whole bunch of food. These are great. We're going to want to buy them pretty much every time we can. And then, yeah, you can see just like some very basic gear. A crummy shield. I think I saw some crappy boots down here. Actually, never mind. These are pretty okay boots. Alright, Katie, don't lose those. We'll come back. There's another whole map of town down below us. We'll worry about it in a minute. Let's go into the dungeon and play some video games here. Well, today's the big day. I'm so excited for you. Have you spoken to Erin at the campfire yet? She'll give you rumors that will help guide your journey. You'll even earn rewards for investigating them. You know, I've heard some rumors myself. Things I couldn't quite believe. Everyone knows about the monsters and ruffians hanging out just ahead in the Follies. But beyond that, everything is shrouded in mystery. People have brought back powerful ancient gear, and there are stories of ruined old cities, valleys made of fungus, and metal that lives. If even half of that is true, well, you're in for some adventure, that's for sure. But the greatest treasure of all is knowledge. What's up there? What's at the end? Is there even an end? There's so much we don't know about where we came from. Your heroism will help us all. Okay, got it. And she's handed us some healing items, presumably food. She gave us 2 juicy apples. Lovely. Well, listen. Apples are not amazing healing items, but they're certainly better than the nothing that we currently have. And I'm just going to skip the tutorial floors. We know how to play the game. I know how to play the game, and I'll teach you guys, so don't worry. The safest areas of Tangledeep are still dangerous. Many have tried to tame it, but nature wins in the end. Ornery critters and unsavory characters call the Follies home. So, we have down here a couple of bars that are probably pretty familiar to anybody who's played a game like this before. We have our health and our energy, which is, you know, mana, effectively. Usually you use this to cast spells. We have a second mana-like resource that's called stamina. Basically, some jobs are very stamina-based, some jobs are very energy-based, some jobs use a combination of the two, but as we build up our character, we're going to want to make sure we have some ways to cash in stamina and some ways to cash in energy, and we're going to have to watch these resources carefully. We also have, of course, an XP bar. We have, we will level up and get more health and stamina and stuff, and we have this charge time bar. Every time the charge time bar hits 100, we get an extra turn. That's going to turn out to be really, really important, and it has some implications for, like, our equipment and stuff. Like, remember, now you know what it means when it says that the knife here gains us 35 charge time on crit. So if you use knives a lot and you have a high crit chance, you just take way more turns, which can obviously be very, very valuable. Alright, up here we see a magic fountain. Touch the magic fountain, get 2 charges of Flask. As far as I know, there's no limit to the number of Flask charges you can have, so we're just gonna take those. There might be a limit. I don't know. We're nowhere near the limit, that's for sure. And we got chomped a little bit here. Okay, we're not, we're not super powerful at the moment, We just started the game. It has taken us forever to kill these guys. And you can see when you kill monsters, particularly when you kill monsters in melee, they tend to drop these little orbs that will boost up your current stamina and energy. So that's one of the primary ways that we're going to be refilling those things. That right there is the Deadly Grotto Flyer. This thing here indicates that this is a monster we have a quest for. And we also have over here another Deadly Grotto Flyer. So this kind of monster is called a Grotto Flyer. The deadly thing here just indicates that this guy is harder. He has some extra traits. I'm a little concerned about the situation that we are in right now. Moving in mud gets you stuck. So we're just going to have at this dude. We have an extra turn right now. I'm inclined to spend our extra turn eating an apple. Let's get a regen effect ticking here. So we're full. We can't eat another food for 15 turns, but we're recovering some stuff right now. And for right now, the game's fairly simple. Hey, look at that. We did it. We got a knife and some gold, and it looks like he also dropped some boots for us. Got some running shoes. The running shoes... I don't actually remember what running shoes do. Plus 2 CT per step. Okay, that's totally fine. And the bull knife has a knockback chance and also extra power. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of knockback on our melee weapons. I think we generally want the enemies to stay right where they are. But I do think that we'll equip that over our sword, maybe? So you can see the dual wield penalty on your offhand weapon is considerably larger than the dual wield penalty on your main hand weapon, and there are some weapons that lessen the penalty even further. There's a class of weapons, the claw, that likes to be wielded in the offhand, and then there's also weapon traits. Weapons will sometimes have traits that make them better at being dual wielded. But this has been productive so far. This is the basis of the game. This is what it's going to be like a lot. Yeah, see that knockback there. When we knock an enemy back, we should probably just pass the turn instead of running toward it, because if we move toward it, then it on its turn gets to hit us. If we wait and make it come back to us, then we get the free hit instead. Where's that other Deadly Grotto Flyer? Where'd that thing go? Oh, water allows you to more easily dodge ranged attacks and empowers lightning. Lava hurts you, because you know it's lava, and can hurt most monsters. Mud can root you in place. Certain terrain may enhance or decrease elemental damage, too. Check the ground before you move. Alright, we'll leave the tips on for now, because there might be some new things I don't remember, and also there might be some old things I don't remember, because that's that's the way I am. Anybody who's been around here for a while knows that. These are the stairs that go up to Cedar Caverns 2. We don't want to go up to Cedar Caverns 2 just yet. I'm going to hit our healing flask. We're a little injured. Now, some of you are going, oh my god, SB, you have job points. Did you not realize you didn't spend your job points? Hold on, I know. We're just taking it slow. We're getting the hang of the game again. Here, real quick. So, sparkly on the ground indicates there's a thing to be had. Slimes shoot a lot of little tiny slimes out when we attack them. And we found some Java beans just sitting on the floor, and I'll definitely eat those things. Okay, a lot of enemies that have more powerful abilities or spells will do things like this. You can see he's charging up a thing, and the game is indicating to us which squares are going to be hit with his thing next turn. So let's not be in them. I'm trying to get him to come closer. I don't want to step over to him. I want him to step over to us. Alright, we're about to level up. And when we level up, we're going to go back to full health. So that's the smart way to do that, is to move in such a way that you end up adjacent to the enemy. Alright, so we go back to full health and stamina and energy on a level up, and we also get to gain a stat. All your stats have grown, and then we get to get an extra +3 to something. My inclination is to go for strength. This boosts our physical defense and our melee damage. It seems like we're a double melee weapon type character, but we also started with a higher swiftness and spirit, which makes me wonder if maybe we want to take one of those instead. So strength is all melee weapons, and it reduces the amount of damage you take from physical attacks. Swiftness boosts the amount of CT that you gain each turn, your critical hit damage, but not your critical hit chance, and your damage with bows. Spirit is the magic-y stat. It gives you, it boosts your spirit power, which is what almost all damage spells scale with this. Also your damage dealt with staffs, and your power-up recovery, that refers to the amount of energy and stamina you get out of these orbs. Discipline boosts your defense against non-physical damage, the duration of your buffs, the HP of your summoned pets, and we will have a pet. That'll end up being important. And Discipline also factors into your staff damage. So think of this as like Spirit is magic offense, and Discipline is more like magic defense. And then Guile is your crit chance, your parry chance, and your power-up drop rate. And also, we know that Guile increases the damage dealt with knife-type weapons. I'm going to take some... Well, I was going to take Swiftness. I'm going to take a point of Guile here. We're dual-wielding daggers right now, so this will scale our damage, and I do like crit chance. And we'll figure out what is the appropriate thing to level up as we learn some abilities, which we're going to do very shortly here. We're going to go back to town and learn a thing once we explore the first level. Oh, this is that other... Oh, this is a frenzied grotto flyer, and he is turtling. So he has this ability to generate these directional shields, which cause him to take dramatically reduced damage from those directions. Obviously, if we're going to continue fighting him, we want to change up this fight a little bit. Also, getting a little worried about the amount of damage we're taking from this normal rat. What on earth happened there? Oh, it's a dire mold-infested... It's a phasing mold-infested vermin. It teleports. Okay, well the good news is he's dead. We also got this simple codex. Okay, there we go. We wanna get into a position here where we have the ability to attack this guy from multiple directions. So if he puts up his shield, we can dodge around it. Alright, let's get some more Flask. This is going pretty well. Enemies do not generate infinitely, I don't think. I think you can just clear a level out. Man, I don't remember. It's been such a long time. In any case, we'll take this guy out. So he is a, as you might imagine, he is a whirlwind enemy. He can summon these whirlwinds that move around, and if they move onto your space, they push you around. Not so dangerous for a ranged character, but actually very annoying for melee characters. Fortunately, they don't seem to have much interest in us. I think he might have gotten pushed by the tornado there, actually. Alright, we got ourselves some flowering spice bark seeds. I always want to break stuff. You know, pots and vases and stuff in a dungeon. There's always all kinds of belongings that have been left in a dungeon for some reason. Okay, well we're getting tons and tons of power-ups. I don't think we have much to fear in terms of losing our losing all of our stamina or anything. Alright, here we've got another staircase. This goes up to the Applewood Grove. We may as well step in here before we go back to town, finish our quest. You can see it is now day 2. Every time you go up to a new floor, the day will advance, and certain things in town happen on a sort of a time basis. You need days to pass for like plants to grow and for merchants to change their inventory. Also, we have all these dudes running around up here stealing all the food, and we just gotta punch the food right out of them. Give me that food back. Alright, we're gonna take another level of Guile, for the same reason that we took a level of Guile before. You know, you can never go wrong with having more ability to crit. Alright, well, we got a bunch of food from the Applewood Grove here, and I think this would probably be a fine time to go home. Let's go home and learn some abilities and just like figure out how our class actually works. Also, apparently there's lots of stuff happening south of the campfire. I guess we'll go check it out. Something's making a ruckus in Riverstone Grove. That's where the monster corral is. Alright, we'll go have a look. But first things first. Let's go to you and see if you'll give us new stuff. Discover the Spiny Maze through Cedar Caverns, Floor 2. Seek it out and get some XP. Okay, I like XP. Defeat Blarg. Okay, I don't know what a Blarg is, but we will kill it. And then we still have one quest, right? Oh yeah, I didn't defeat a jelly... Where's my quest log? How do video games work? Rumors, here we go. Yeah, defeat a moss jelly using the power of physical. I feel like we did that, right? We've stabbed a bunch of moss jellies to death. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Let's talk to... No, not you. Do we have to... we just learned abilities right here. We have to spend some job points, of which we have 692, thanks to all that fighting, to learn some abilities. We also have some innate abilities from our class. Right now, our penalties for dual wielding are decreased, and we have some free swiftness, spirit, and discipline. Once we have spent a total of 1,000 job points, we'll get our scroll summons doubled, so we're going to learn what those are in a second here. And once we have all of the abilities from this class, Scrolls and Inkstorm deal plus 25% damage to adjacent enemies. Okay, so what do these do? This drenches an area with rushing water, dealing damage and creating water vapor that lingers afterward. So 50% of weapon power and 50% of spirit power as water, meaning that it does water-typed damage, which will matter in some cases. And an obscuring mist suppresses fire damage and increases your dodge chance. Okay, that's interesting. The lightning does more damage, coursing through a straight line, dealing damage and creating electric sparks that linger afterward. Sparks grant a stacking plus 8% chance to crit. Okay. So we'll move through them and then they'll buff us and we'll expend them on our next attack. That's certainly interesting. Retort. So those two are both energy. Those are both very magic-y abilities. This ability costs stamina. Does not cost us a turn. Prepare yourself to dodge the next physical attack. It's a dodge bonus that lasts 10 turns. The attacker is sealed for 3 turns. Sealed might be they can't use abilities. I don't remember what the sealed status does. We'll find out. Ooh, evasion abilities. We want this. So gracefully leap a short distance 3 tiles away. It's a very low stamina cost, and it only goes on cooldown every other time it is used. That seems really useful. We're going to learn that for sure. And then we still have quite a lot here. Blasts an area with a harrowing shadow burst. So it's a size 2 cross, dealing damage and creating shadow orbs that linger. So it does a little bit less damage than the other 2 scrolls, but adds a stacking shadow vulnerability to affected enemies, and the shadow orbs grant a bonus to basic melee attacks for a brief time. Okay, that's cool. I like things that motivate you to do both magic and physical attacks, like the interplay of stuff like that. Forbiddance. Expend all brush strokes to write powerful magic runes in the tiles in front of you, which seal and root enemies who step on them. 1 rune is created per brush stroke used. What is a brush stroke? This also expends all of our brush strokes. Did I miss something here? Because none of our abilities don't talk about brush strokes at all, do they? Maybe now that we have an ability of Calligrapher, now that we're officially a Calligrapher, I don't know, maybe we'll just start storing up brush strokes automatically? Okay, what does this actually do? It expends brushstrokes to furiously attack nearby enemies at random. I like that idea. And combat biography. Writes of your adventures in a mystical biography, expending all brushstrokes and summoning the book nearby. Picking up the book returns all used brushstrokes plus 1, then empowers Calligrapher skills briefly. Interesting. Okay, let's take a couple of basic spell type things. Let's get Shadow Scroll and then Maybe also lightning. Lightning's the highest damage one. And we have enough to learn retort or water scroll. Let's grab retort. Okay, so we have these abilities. You can see here, support abilities. Increase your power and utility. They work passively without any need to toggle them on and off. You have a limited number of support abilities that you can have active. You also have a limited number of slots for active abilities. So we're gonna have to be a little bit judicious in what we pick up. We can't just jam all of the cool stuff together, but that's not gonna be a problem for us for quite some time. Let's see, water scroll is 100. And then all of the abilities we have to learn beyond that are actually very expensive. Okay, these two are support skills, so they're very expensive, but when your health drops to 25% or lower, you are shrouded with invisible ink, dramatically increasing your dodge chance. And your basic melee attacks have a 15% chance to inflict reduced resistance to water, lightning, or shadow. It seems like... my guess here is that it picks one of those at random each time. So you want to have all three of your scrolls available so you can take advantage of whichever comes up. That's interesting. We might want to pick that up sometime soon. Let's also... we have a little bit of money here. Let's see what Katie has. It looks like her inventory has changed based on the fact that it says new next to her name, but she might still have some cool stuff for us. We don't have any armor at all, but I'm not going to spend money on basic armor. We will find some armor. Mint Herb Brew is an immediate health restorer. That's pretty rare. Most things in the game restore health over time. So sometimes a Mint Herb Brew can really save your life. And I think we're going to go ahead and buy that. And then it looks like she doesn't really have anything else. Yeah, nothing else really cool. Alright, let's go see what's going on in the Grove. Oi, you there! One of my critters escaped during bath time, and I need him back in the corral. Lend me a hand, would ya? Attack the beast until it has 15% health or lower, then bash it on the head with this monster mallet. Got it. Monster mallet's easy. Come here, you. Alright, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful. We kind of do a lot of damage when we attack. I'm a little worried that I might not... okay, 14%. Perfect. So now we want to open up our inventory and... bash him one. Okay. Nice job wrangling that frog, miss. Now that it's knocked out, you can drag it over to the corral and we'll get him nice and situated. No need to worry about the critter waking up, either. That frog is proper knackered and won't move on its own. She's real British or something. Hey, I brought you a monster. Give this monster a name. He is the most basic frog. Alright. Thank you kindly, miss. Now that he's back in the pen, Basic looks happy as can be. I'd say he took a liking to you. It kind of looks like I hit space to type Basic Frog, and it just entered his name, but it looks like it did insert a space before it entered the name, which is weird. Okay, I could use a companion. I don't have the option of saying that. All I can say is I can take care of myself. Well, of course you can, but even the toughest scrappers can benefit from a well-trained monster by their side. You can buddy up with any monsters in the corral if they're happy enough, and they'll follow you wherever you go. This is a very important thing. We definitely want to have a pet. Any healing effects you use will heal your pet, but they're not invincible. I recommend pet insurance, in case things get hairy out there. Your pet will gain XP when you do, it can level up, even a scrawny monster could become a real slugger with enough XP. Now there is another way to make your pet pals even stronger. You'll need a couple of captured monsters that feel nice and friendly toward each other, and you have to imagine here, nudging us repeatedly with her elbow. Find some rose petals, and, well, you might end up with a new critter that's even more powerful. So yeah, we can... there's a whole mechanic here where we're, like, capturing powerful monsters and then breeding them together to create weird hybrid monsters, which are basically just the same as the normal monsters, but with one ability from each parent. And you can make some pretty powerful stuff that way. Howdy, you like trees? Then you like my magic grove, I've decided without asking you. We can grow some right dang powerful fruits if you just come on by and plant magic seeds. I'll take good care of them, you bet. The farm is renewable and sustainable. It'll live forever, even if you don't. Yeah, I am totally down with that. Tell me more, frog. The first step is haul back some magic seeds, bring them right on over here, and plant them in one of these professional dirt piles I made. Then you gotta leave it to old Langdon to do his froggy farmer magic. You go off and do adventures, I'll do the hard work of watching trees grow, and once they've matured, maybe they'll drop some fruit. They do just give you stuff, which is cool. Also, each species of tree grows different types of food. Some might even drop valuable leaves, and the secret is letting them grow nice and old. Old trees drop more stuff, so you keep pushing yourself along up there in Tangledeep. You know, he's a frog. He's got a speech impediment. It's not nice to call attention to it. If one of your trees looks at you the wrong way, you can chop it down and earn yourself some quick XP and JP. But if you do that, it ain't going to drop more fruit on account of you cut it down. Their sap is on your hands. So we can cash in trees to quickly level up a character, or like if we're very close to a level up and we could desperately use the refill, then we come back here and chop down a tree. We only have one set of seeds right now, so let's go ahead and plant that flowering spice bark, which, as you might guess from the name, will tend to give us spices. There's also a whole cooking system. The game's very complicated. There's a lot of things going on, and spices are real important in cooking. Alright, and with that, I think we're cool to just get right on back in there. There's a couple more NPCs here. This fella will, W.R. Chimperton III, will let us store items in the bank. The big benefit of that is that items on your character are lost when you die, but items in the bank persist between characters, so you can throw stuff in here for future guys. And then over here we have the weapon mastery dude. We are not yet ready to do weapon mastery stuff. The winding threads of destiny are fraught with peril. Neither the quill nor the spoken word will save you. Trust only the blade of the axe, the feathers of the bow, and your own fighting spirit. And also your quills. That thing about the quills not saving you, that was for other people, yours are fine. Return to me when you have become advanced in your job, and I will teach you the paths to weapon mastery. So that's another way for us to spend our job points. We can get more adept with particular types of weapons, and unlock all sorts of new abilities with them. There's a lot of things in this game, just a huge number of things, but for right now I think what we're doing is just heading upstairs. Well, first we're going to fight this rat. Uh-oh. This is not entirely ideal. Also, my phone is going crazy right now. Hey, remember when I said this is not entirely ideal? This right here is what I was talking about. Good news, we can glide. I want to glide. Oh, right. It says 3 tiles away. It doesn't mean anywhere within 3 tiles. It means exactly 3 tiles away. Well, that's fine. We'll just glide on over to here. And then... oh, the bloodthirsty, mold-infested vermin is a puller. He pulled us back over to him, which frankly is just fine by me. I did want to be adjacent to the enemy anyway. Alright, we splattered these dudes. Listen, the adventuring life's easy. Okay, so this right here is a moss jelly. We're supposed to be trying to kill these guys with physical damage. It doesn't seem to be working. Do knives not deal physical damage? I think they do. Maybe we're supposed to be crushing it? It does say bruise jelly in the quest, doesn't it? We don't have any crushy type weapons, though. Yeah, whatever. I'll just smash them. Okay, apparently that time it works. We got ourselves a Knife of Familiars. Look at this. He waited until a moment of weakness. And actually, we can't glide to almost anywhere. I can't glide to tiles I can't see. I can't glide there because he's in the way. I can't glide here because it's rocks. Well, that didn't help anything at all. Ow. Alright, let's go ahead and go upstairs. In between floors, you'll see these little areas, which sometimes will have interesting NPCs. They'll often have a campfire that you can do stuff at. Let's talk to this guy. His name is Peebus. Could you scratch my back? I really like having my back scratched. It's really nice. I'm going to go ahead and scratch his back. In general, if strangers ask this of you, say no, kids. So do you want to buy some items? Sure, maybe. Actually, I don't know, maybe. Ooh, okay, I do want to buy a tent. A tent will fully restore all of your health and stamina and energy. Also, it'll pass a day. Sometimes that's really valuable. Also, rose petals can be... My memory of rose petals is that they can sometimes be hard to come by, so I'm going to go ahead and buy these. And we'll use those to make some monsters real friendly at some point in the future. Also, I forgot to buy a monster mallet. Let's buy one of those. So we'll try to find a cool monster and bonk him with the mallet and then imprison him in our corral. And then the knight's shovel will let you dig out a space of wall. Obviously, the name is a reference to Shovel Knight. The name and most of the text is a reference to Shovel Knight. Chili peppers. I do not remember what the different spices do. We're going to buy some chili peppers. Who knows? Maybe we'll need them. Balsam clears all negative status effects. It's kind of expensive. I'm not going to worry about it. I think we'll take the shovel, but I think we're good now. And then, at these special camping fires, we can cook cool stuff, or we can just rest. I'm inclined to just take the rest here. If you don't need healing right now, you can cook a single super healing item to use any time, but we don't know how to cook, so I'm just gonna rest for the moment. Also, apologies, I'm trying not to be distracted, but somebody has just sent me like a half dozen texts. Alright, up to floor 2. So, we're going to be in the Cedar Caverns for a little while, but every so often, I think every 6 floors or so, the look of the dungeon will change pretty dramatically. It's not all going to be the same forest tile set. I found some money on the ground, and for the moment, I think we're just... Oh, I forgot about these guys, Quillkin. God, I hate them. They're gonna shoot quills at us from a distance, and they're gonna be a real pain to get to. Actually, they don't have to be a real pain to get to. What if we just use glide? Do I want to glide right here next to the scary enemy? Yeah, sure. Let's do this and then try out some of our abilities. So, Shadow Scroll. Yeah, like this. So we Shadow Scroll them up, and then they're a little shadow vulnerable. This thing has a cooldown, though. So we'll just stab this guy. Oh no, we pushed him back, and then the other enemy moved in. That's actually very annoying. Yeah. I'm having some feelings about the pushback on our weapon. Let's go ahead and prep retort. Because we're definitely going to get attacked here in a second. And then we could lightning strike. I just really want to get rid of the Quillkin as quickly as possible. Okay, that got the job done. So this guy is sealed, which is that little eye above his head. I just don't remember what it does. We have a codex. I could probably look it up. But why look it up when instead I could just stab him many times? We're taking kind of a huge amount of damage. I'm going to go ahead and drink our healing flask, which does not cost a turn. And then I think we're going to also eat. And using a food item here from our inventory will cost us a turn. But we got to get this healing effect going. Okay, we're kind of dying. Sort of dying. We're going to move up here and grab one of these shadow orbs. Do the same thing. I'm just trying to, there we go. Put ourselves in a position where they can't both be attacking me at the same time. We need a moment to clear out one of the enemies while our healing effects work. Alright, we did it. 114 XP is a lot of the way toward the next level. And we're hacking dudes up, and we're getting a garnet, which I think is just for selling. I don't remember if you can do anything cool with gems in this game. As you can see, when we walk in water... oh, I thought I remembered that walking in water costs stamina. Maybe that's not a thing that's true anymore. Also, maybe it's a thing that was never true, because my brain is not always good. Okay, we found ourselves an electric jelly. As you might imagine, we don't want to get hit by the lightning. Probably not exactly blowing anybody's mind there. Some kind of terrifying spider beast. A cave stalker. You know what? A cave stalker seems like the kind of monster that might be good to have as a friend. Never mind, I killed it from above the capture threshold. Got ourselves a simple sling in case we want to go to ranged weapons. We don't really seem like a ranged weapon class. We want to be... a lot of our spells have a pretty short range, and we want to be right on top of stuff so that we can grab the orbs that are left over on the ground by our spells. So for the moment, let's just stick to melee. So that's going to take us up to the Spiny Maze, which is a place we should go. There's loot and stuff. But man, as you might imagine from the name, it's full of spinies. And that's, with a melee character, that can sometimes be no fun at all. What are you? You are a whirlwind blarg. I assume that his name is in slime. It's just how slimes speak. Alright, a level up for us. So now that we have a better sense of how our character really works, we probably won't be wielding daggers forever. I don't feel bad about taking a couple of points of crit chance, but it might be better for us to focus on spirit power and strength, since our spells scale with both our weapon damage and with our spirit power. I think for the moment we're taking a lot of physical damage. A lot of the early enemies are very physical focused, so let's take some physical defense and also more stabbing. Okay, the tornadoes do not move you, they do damage, or at least they try to do damage. And we got some superior shoes, it looks like. Sorry, give me these. +2 core stats, monsters less likely to notice you is kind of whatever. I guess we can wear 2 pairs of shoes at the same time? No, I cannot. Will not equip a second pair of shoes. Alright, and then, this Knife of Familiars... It does have more weapon power than our current offhand knife. I kind of want to take the bull knife off, but it has extra power, man. We're going to keep it. We're going to keep it because I love dealing damage. It's a controversial stance, but I think that it's a good idea to kill your foes in a video game. Usually. There's something to be said there about the fact that that's how we always handle hostile beings in video games. It's a whole conversation we don't need to have right now. Okay. So we're going to want to, First of all, worth noting, we are taking damage every time we melee them. They have those spikes. We're punching a thing that is made of spikes. So that sucks. We're going to want to use Glide very aggressively here to close the distance in situations where we can't break line of sight. And yeah, every time our Bull Dagger pushes one back, it's going to feel terrible. Alright, in these side areas, enemies definitely don't respawn. This is definitely like a glide kind of situation. Wow, he hit us really hard there. Yeah, in these special little side areas, the enemies definitely don't respawn, and you get a little bit of extra reward for clearing them completely of enemies. So we're going to want to do this a lot, but man, it really sucks to do it here. Honestly, this is probably the worst one for a while. And every once in a while, one of those things hits you for about 10 billion. So we'll glide up to there. Give him fewer turns to shoot at me as I approach. Especially since they drop stamina boosts all the time, so there's almost no point in trying to preserve our stamina. Oof, but they're dropping just like tiny amounts of health, tiny amounts of XP, so we're not going to get our extra level, we're not going to get our level up health restore anytime soon. Just taking a ton of damage, man. Maybe it would be worth it to go to a ranged weapon. I kind of want to stick to what our class is good for, or good at, but extra damage based on HP lost recently and a dual wield bonus. On crit, heal 5% of your max HP versus non-trivial enemies. So you may have noticed when I moused over enemies a couple of times, they have a rating that roughly means like what their level is relative to ours, and if you outlevel an enemy by too much, it becomes trivial and it stops giving you XP. And a lot of effects that trigger off of fighting stuff don't trigger when you're fighting trivials. I think what we're gonna do here is we're gonna move this to slot 1. We're gonna move this to our offhand, and I'm gonna stop using this bull knife because the knockback is just super annoying. We also got some real basic robes there. It's a significant amount of extra charge time gain and also some dodge, which is obviously nice to have. And I'm gonna eat another banana because we are actually we're getting murdered here. I'm gonna use some Flask too. We don't have to be super careful with our healing Flask charges, is my memory. And no, I will not jump through this flag. Yeah, it's not actually more efficient than just walking around this thing. Alright, sometimes we'll get a nice offhand crit there and gain ourselves some health back, and hopefully this will sustain us through the terrors of the spiny maze a little bit better. Having some situations here where the glide's not really that helpful on account of the very weird shape of these areas. Hold on, we can approach this guy in a way that doesn't make us so vulnerable to him. Right, we can glide here. There we go. That's the kind of thing we want to be doing. Alright. Oh. Very small amount of spiny gold. Alright, hold on. We picked up some spectacles. Did we... Those go in a slot automatically? What do those do? 5 guile and 5 swiftness. Okay. So, somewhat helpful. It's not, like, hugely relevant. We also have some job points. We could learn a thing. I suppose I could be using my spells more. I suppose I definitely should be using my spells more. Okay. We will use our lightning thing, especially. Alright, so I'm gonna do a lightning to him. Ow. Still, never mind. I didn't get hit there. That 47 was me hitting him. So he is all sparked up, and then we may as well just also give him Shadow Orb. Because they're going to drop energy orbs too, right? So it's not like there's any reason to hold on to the energy. We're not wasting it by using it. He's at 17%. We can just kill him. And then figure out our... try to take a couple of stacks of that. Figure out our health afterward. We are really taking a lot of damage here. I mean, we'll find plenty of food. We don't have to be stingy with any of this stuff. But it sure would be embarrassing to lose a character in the spiny maze during the first episode. Alright, we can just use the this thing to skip one space forward. And you don't have to think super hard about your charge time. It will just kind of happen and take care of itself. But hopefully you are noticing it, giving us a free turn every now and then. Like, it does matter. It helps a lot. And especially if you're using knives, you can get a lot of value out of the extra charge time from the crits. We have to be close to done, right? It's gotta be. It's gotta be close to over. I forgot how much I hate the spiny maze. Found a vigorous draft, which I do not remember the use of. Well, listen, we'll go through everything. We'll relearn all of the stuff. We have 227 health left. I don't think we're in any danger here. We will use spells, because it's a good idea to use spells. Plus, it's even beyond it being the best way to fight these things, it's just good to get into the habit. Because we are very much a hybrid type character here. He says, and then doesn't do that exact thing. Alright, side area cleared. Get a bunch of bonus JP. We can escape portal back to the entrance. We can also open up this cool chest that dropped, full of chickens and codices and whatnot. Alright, we have some sparks. So these little buffs that we get from our calligraphy abilities do not last very long. I'm just running around here to make sure we didn't miss any sparkles or chests or anything. Back to the side area entrance, please. Alright, things are going okay so far. So here, we should make a decision. What is the next thing we intend to buy with job points? I think that I want Muse of Melee. Muse of Melee seems pretty good, but I kind of want to take one of these brushstroke abilities just to see if that will start earning us brushstrokes. So this thing does 150% of weapon damage. I mean, this seems really powerful. Uses the weapons element. You know what? Let's buy Inkstorm, just because I want to see what it does. And we're still super far away from a level up. You can go back to town and rest, which maybe is the best way for us to refill, rather than spending resources. Your resources are somewhat limited in the sense that the town doesn't regenerate new gear all of the time. And so, sometimes you have to let time pass, but there's a limited number of ways to do that. We should definitely glide out of here, I think this way probably. And then we can lightning strike. Unfortunately, only hitting one of them, but it's a good idea to get the stuff on the ground. So what is he? He's heavy. I assume heavy means I can't knock him back. Okay, and we are just accumulating brushstrokes now that we have a brushstroke-based ability. So I'm going to press Inkstorm here, and it's just going to tear this dude apart, right? Oh, it affects a very large area. That ability seems really good. A little difficult to guess exactly where it's going to affect stuff. Alright, we'll retort. This will give us a little bit of time to get health back off of our flask. These guys are both low, but he'll probably die faster since he's not a legendary. Or not a super monster with a trait. Okay, a chicken. And it seems like the buff orbs last on the ground for a good long time. Alright, we're getting the hang of it. We understand the class now. So the brushstrokes last a really long time. Let's see how many we can build up. Also, I'm going to try again to capture... Ooh. I'm going to unequip one of my knives. We have plenty of health. We can afford to screw around a little bit here. Let's unequip that. We'll hit him with just one hand. Damn it. Damn it. Too good at stabbing things. Alright, well, put my other hand thing back on. I don't know exactly what the best kind of monster to capture is anymore. Especially not from, like, these low-level areas. But spiders seem good. You are regenerating. Okay, I'm not too worried about that. We can kill a regenerating monster. We're going to remember to use our stuff. Don't you start regenerating at me. Sorry, we are massively... Ooh, what is that? Found a Sapping Novice's Wrap. So is that like a hand wrap for your punch attacks? It is of the natural weapon class. Critical hits reduce enemy damage by 20% for 4 turns. Ignores weapon power bonuses, but lets you attack as though you are unarmed. That's useful for one of the classes is a monk that wants to be attacking with their quote-unquote natural weapon. So that seems fine. Seems like an okay thing. We probably will not get a lot of use out of it. Well, we see the way up to the next floor, and it does look like we've explored this area pretty thoroughly, so I suppose let's move on up. Okay, we did not get a little interstitial floor here. We did, however, find our first fungal toad. Fungal toads are weird little creatures. He might make a good pet, actually. Okay, first of all, this. Secondly, let's go... Where's my hammer? Here we go. Bash the monster. And then, I want to go home. And we need to not let the other monsters kill our pet monster here. Kill our new buddy. So we'll just head back downstairs with him. To a place that is safer. Then we will wait out the rest of the time on our teleport. Okay, Jorito wants us to come over and talk to him, but we already talked to him and we know all about his nonsense. We'll deal with Jorito later. Oh, your trees have produced a thing. We don't even have to walk over there, which is nice. We harvested some cinnamon, which is probably a good thing. Oh, that's right. The monster we already had was a fungal toad. Well, I brought you this fungal toad. It's a different fungal toad. Different is his name. And then we should probably pull one of these toads out. So, Different, not too happy. I just bashed him on the head a second ago, so you know he remembers that. He is, however, jaw-droppingly beautiful. I thought that was the case. When I looked right at him, I said, man, what a lovely frog. I'm gonna groom this frog. Why don't you bathe and style my frog? Wait, no, this isn't gonna make him happy. It's just gonna make him more beautiful. He doesn't need to be more beautiful. Different, you're perfect just as you are. We should feed him, though. We need him to be happier. He'll be better statted once he's happier. Every animal likes different food, and I don't remember how anything works. I used to know all kinds of stuff. Do you like fish? Do you want to eat this fish? Would that be good for you? It was okay, he says. How about an apple? Do frogs like apples? Would that be good for you? I know you don't drink. Nope, he doesn't really like the apple either. You want a smoothie? Maybe I was wrong about that drinking thing? Nope. Some cheese. The cheese was also okay. We did boost his happiness level. but just barely. So you can see it took 4 foods to get his happiness level up. If we can find something that he likes better than it was okay, we'll be able to do this much more efficiently. Alright, let me take one of these monsters out into the world with me. I think we'll take basic. I kind of want to level different up because the fact his beauty has something to do with the way that they mate. I don't 100% understand the system, but it feels like this is the one we ought to level up. I don't know. Let's nope, he won't do it. He has to be at least discontent before he'll get down with going out into the thing. Alright. Give me basic then. Big basic frog. Alright, let's head back into the dungeon now. Do we wanna pick up more rumors? We definitely spent most of our rumors. Try Spooked Cave Stalker. Defeat a cave stalker using the power of shadow. That is absolutely doable. I'll take it. Free stuff. And then also, delight the Tangledeep curry-loving cave stalker. There's an unusual cave stalker in Cedar Caverns 4 that just loves Tangledeep curry. Drop one of those near him and see what happens. Wow, the rewards for that are considerable. We will definitely do that. So I guess we'd better cook ourselves a Tangledeep curry. The good news is that I'm pretty sure Tangledeep curry is just the name for you made a thing and it looks bad. So we're going to combine some fine cheese and some chili peppers. There you go. It's hot, it's hearty, it's made with questionable ingredients. Tangledeep curry, it's technically food. And then I'm not going to worry about any of this other stuff. We're not going to cook anything else. I don't remember what makes good food anyway. What am I doing? We're not walking back in the gate like commoners. We're using our fancy magic portal. Oh, do I want to spend my job points? We have 247 again. I think I do want to save up for Muse of Melee next, so let's do that. And I guess let's just go up to the next level. So wait, what was my other rumor? The one that we still have from earlier? Nothing. I just thought we had only cashed in 2 of them. Well, I should have picked up another rumor. Let's go back to town and do that. So whenever you see the character hop in place like this, that's me pressing the wait 1 turn button. In case that wasn't clear. Hey, do you have another thing for me because I'm dumb? Alright, retrieve a scroll of job change. Hey, that's a pretty useful scroll. A scarred fungal toad in Cedar Caverns 4 has a fancy scroll for you, and will give you a lot of stuff if you find it. Cool. That's especially good because we really want a scroll of job change anyway. Changing jobs is not free. The scroll lets you skip the cost, and it can sometimes be a considerable cost. Nope. Basic is too dumb and cannot think to get out of the way. Fortunately, Basic, as a fungal toad, has health regeneration of his own, so we don't have to necessarily worry about him. Here we have Pandora's box. We're going to crack this open. All monsters will become tougher permanently, but we got a bunch of XP and job points and gold. You're going to learn quickly here that I will do almost anything for some job points. I really, really love them. I think that it is perfectly fine to open a bunch of Pandora's boxes. There's definitely a limit where you are making yourself way too likely to die. I have no idea where that limit is. We should probably glide over to this dude and show him what's what. Right, I suppose I should show him what's what with lightning. I believe that there is no friendly fire. I think we can't hurt Big Basic Frog with any of our spells. We're going to find out whether that's true or not. A rope strap. That's not a kind of item that existed before, I'm fairly sure. And here we have some flying fish, you know, Aracudas. I'm not gonna glide over the Aracudas. This isn't worth spending stuff on. Big Basic Frog will distract them until we show up, and then he'll heal himself, and everything will be fine. So you might be noticing he periodically does that like big stomp move, some little cracks appear in the ground underneath him. When he does that, enemies that are adjacent to his landing site will take damage. So he's real good at keeping up with us and at harming enemies as he does so, which is nice. He'll distract enemies, it's just really nice to have 2 things for your enemies to attack. We're gonna Inkstorm, because that ability's cool. I thought it said that it didn't create brushstrokes, but we definitely have 2 brushstrokes again after using it. That's weird. We'll keep an eye on that. Listen, I don't know how stuff works. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, but we're going to learn together. That's what this whole thing is. Alright, so I am remembering now, it sure does seem like enemies generate infinitely in these areas. Okay, let's do this and see if our... Okay, our buddy does not get hit. That's what I remembered. Enemies generate infinitely in the non-side areas, so it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to run around trying to clear it, but we do at least want to see where all the treasure and the fountains are. Strong feelings about fountains. Hold on a second. Let's go look at this rope strap business. What is this? It's a whip? Yes, whip class. Damage based on strength and swiftness. Hits enemies adjacent to target. Oh, that's cool. On crit, target takes 25% weapon damage per turn for 2 turns. Is it a... It doesn't actually say on it that it's not a one-handed weapon. So it's probably a one-handed weapon. Let's equip that in slot 1. Let's try it. Hits enemies adjacent to target. Just seems very good. And then obviously we want to cheat our way over here. It's nice that our frog can also cheat his way over. What am I doing? Take this. There we go. Okay, so we are trying to kill a... It's a cave stalker that we have to kill with shadow damage, right? I misclicked and fired that spell in a place where it didn't do anything at all. Let's go ahead and hit the healing flask. We're taking kind of a lot of damage here. And I guess I didn't need to do that. I wasn't looking at how close we are to leveling. We were going to be totally fine. Oh well, if we end up losing the game because we run out of flasks and one more would have saved us, then I guess we know why we died. It's because SB's a big dummy. Okay, Cave Stalker. It was a Cave Stalker, right? Yes. Okay, defeat 3 Cave Stalkers using the power of Shadow. We can do that. We're just going to get him a little bit low, and then we're gonna Shadow Scroll him for 34. Nope, not for enough. We cannot get him for 34% of his health. That's gonna make this a little bit tricky. I guess we'll just have to keep our eyes open for opportunities. Times when we knock him to even less. Ooh, Splint Mail of the Wolf. That sounds good. Give me that over the robe. So it's heavier armor, louder steps when we attract monsters. It doesn't generate as much charge time because we're not moving as fast in it, but considerably more physical resistance and flat physical damage reduction. And also plus 6% damage and an additional plus 2% defense if you have no summoned creatures, which I don't think we do. I think your permanent pet is not a summoned creature. I think we're benefiting from this. Maybe. Ooh, hold on a second. We're using foraging for higher power-up drop rate. No. We should be using this lightning whip, because that's amazing. And then do we want to just... do this? Do we want to be the guy who's running around the dungeon with 2 whips? That's a very silly idea. I'm, like, very into it. You would hurt yourself. Like, a lot, probably. How are you going to fight a thing with 2 whips? But think how much damage we're going to be doing to everything around us. So, the whips do scale with swiftness. And swiftness does some cool stuff for us. I think we're going to take, maybe... So let's see, our spells scale with strength. They also scale with swiftness as long as we're using a weapon whose weapon power is increased by swiftness. And they also always scale with spirit power. But with things like Brush Storm or Ink Storm, we're very motivated to focus on our actual attacks. I'm going to take the swiftness. Oh, and we hit level 5, so we get a Flask Infusion. Restore 3 stamina and energy per turn while the flask is active, or boost attack and defense by 10%. Those both seem good. Let's take Tea Leaf. I know that we haven't been having a problem yet with our spellcasting resources. Part of that is that I'm dumb and keep forgetting to cast the spells, but it's going to become more of an issue later, especially once we have a larger number of good abilities. Also, speaking of abilities, nope, we're not at 600 job points yet. We'll get there. So we found some spectacles. There's all kinds of garbage everywhere. Lightning brew. Another Pandora's box, which I'm totally going to hit. Oh, I failed to delight the Tangledeep curry-loving cave stalker. I wonder if he got killed somehow? No, he's right there. Huh. Why did we fail the quest? I'm still gonna give him the curry. We'll just throw this Tangledeep curry on the ground. And then back away from it. I want food, give me that! And he takes it. And, well, he gave us money. Ooh, what is that? A leather crop. How much money did he give me? 10 gold? That's terrible. Yeah, I have no idea why that quest failed the moment we were able to do it. Okay, he is at 10%. This has got to be good enough. There we go, and I get my Tangledeep curry back. Well, then I guess we just stole 10 gold from him for nothing, which is kind of cool. Okay, starting to be an issue here. So it looks like I think the brush strokes that we were doing there were not causing our attacks to hit both of the enemies. Like, we weren't getting the whip hits enemies adjacent to target bonus on the brush strokes, I think. Keep a close eye on it next time. I don't think there's anything we can do to get our frog to back out of that. He's just not... he's not smart enough to have a sense of self-preservation. What do we have here? He is turtling, and that's it. Okay. Sometimes monsters that have traits will have more than one trait. Let's go ahead and shadow scroll him, I guess. Oh, our pet has fled back to the corral. He's too wounded to go on. So we are going to back off here a little bit, grab ourselves some of these orbs. He's put up a lot of shields, but none of them are in the right place. It's a plus 10% basic attack damage. I wonder if that applies on Inkstorm. I guess we'll do this and see if it spends the charges. Okay, it did. I assume that it... Yeah, I assume that it did spend the charges, and we did actually get the effect of it. Got ourselves some Dazzle Leaf Seeds and a Chalice, which I don't even know what it is. Is it a piece of equipment? No, it's an expendable thing. Oh, right, this. Yeah, it spreads a pool of water on the ground. It heals you, and it also heals your pets, so it's good for, you know, getting healing over to things that are not you. And we're out of pet for the moment, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. Let's go ahead and buy our passive ability. Okay. Store a brushstroke each time you defeat a trivial or greater monster, dodge its attack, or land a critical hit. This is the asterisk here indicates that it is not eating up one of our support slots. So yeah, you just have this as soon as you have any ability that that requires brushstrokes. It would have been nice if that had been a little bit clearer before we bought the ability, but it's not a big deal. Oh, and hey, now that we have now that we've spent that, we have our second passive, don't we? Yeah, duration of your scroll summons is doubled, so they'll sit on the ground longer. I think maybe it refers to the duration of the buff once we've picked it up. I don't know. Either way, that's fine, not great. This is going to be pretty cool, though. I'm excited about that one. You don't always want to learn all of the abilities of a class, because, again, you have limited slots, so sometimes you want to build yourself in such a way as to only pick up a few abilities from each class and really spread yourself out over a bunch of them. I don't have any particular builds in mind, because I don't remember how any of the classes work. So we're going to kind of bumble through here for a minute. He is an electrified fungal toad, so there's going to be a lot of random lightning bolts. Although they're not actually casting, or maybe they just don't have an obvious visual spell effect. And probably it does not make a lot of sense to hit him with the lightning. Honestly, probably the most sensible thing to do is just to keep meleeing these enemies. You dropped a scroll of job change. Okay, that's the guy we were looking for that thing. We have here another cave stalker who we will do our best to kill with shadow damage. Okay, that's perfect. No, wait, that's the wrong spell. I want this, how do I there we go. I want this spell. Alright, that's 2. Is there anything else up here in this corner? Alright, hopefully we'll be able to pull this off. 40's too high. Aha! 1. 1 totally works. Take this. Alright, got ourselves a pack of restorative items. That's probably just like a bunch of real basic low quality food. That's alright. Basic low quality food is, first of all, kind of useful as a restorative item, and secondly, definitely useful as cooking ingredients. Now we're going to shadow scroll these dudes. And then part of me wants to try to set up like a glide over to here, try to get them in a position where we could hit them both with lightning. Probably it's better to just retort and get to killing. Alright, we store all of our stuff here. And we have not been relatively thorough. There is an area up there that I missed. Well, there could be like chests and stuff. Nope, never mind. It does look like there's grass over there. Is that accessible? Ah, okay. It looks like there is a spot there where we may have missed an entrance. I was gonna say, if not, we'll just use our knight's shovel. Dig through the tiny little bit of wall. Sometimes that is the case. There are little hidden areas that are just inside of a wall you have to dig into to access. Okay, cool. Flask charges are always worth it. Flask is a very powerful thing. And I think we can just head toward the stairs here. Got ourselves... Okay, a rope strap that has no traits. Probably not worth worrying about. So let's go on up to the next floor. Ooh, look at this, a secret wall. With them tinted rocks. Do I want to go over to that? Well, you know what I want to do? We should probably have a ranged weapon. Because we do have some ranged weapons. The leather crop is just a slightly higher tier type of whip. Okay, well, you know what? Let's equip that over the offhand weapon that we have now. Because I like the higher power and I don't so much care about the what is it, 4%? Yeah, 4% bonus power-up drop rate. Not a big deal. But let's go ahead and equip, yeah, like this apprentice's staff in slot 2. We're going to pair this with weapon 1. Okay. So now we can swap... That's not the button. Swap to this. Shoot this thing with a ranged attack. Okay, it did drop stuff that's probably worth moving into the lava temporarily for. Unfortunately, there's not really an angle here for a glide. Since glide can only go in straight lines, we can't choose to glide to like this space. Whatever, we'll just run over lava. It's fine. But we should probably stop here. This episode has gotten going here. But it's real easy to get lost in this game and just play for 3 hours. Oh, hey, look at that. A temporary townsperson. So sometimes people will show up in this space. Billock here, obviously related to Nando in some way, or perhaps just really appreciates his haircut. Billock here sells bombs. I am a big fan of some of these bomb items. Some of them really do a huge amount of damage. Yeah, like Shock Brew for 149 damage in a 3x3 area. That's a life-saving item right there. Let's grab a Shock Brew, and then I think also a Blaze Molotov. So you can see there's a couple different levels of each kind of bomb. The Flame Cocktail and the Blaze Molotov are the same kind of thing, they're just one of them's better than the other. We'll go ahead and take that. I'm not going to worry too much about the weaker ones. You know, this is still 92 damage. No, we're not going to worry about the weaker ones. We have our own great big lightning bolts. And I think this is probably where we ought to leave it for today, because if I don't stop now, I really am going to play for another hour. The plan with this series is to have about another hour of gameplay out every weekday, so that is going to be it for us for today. But if you come back tomorrow, probably even earlier in the day, I got kind of a late start on this one, there will be another episode of Tangledeep, and we'll see you then.